ancient Indian science. Ancient Indian science has named itself since this is the science about ancient India. Means what the contributions of ancient Indians provided, that is being explicited here. The ancient Indian life science, which is also a branch of the ancient Indian science. Its knowledge helps us to lead a happy and healthy life. We can lead a happy and healthy life through the knowledge of life science, because the life science deals with the interaction of the life with its nature, the living beings with its nature. Ancient scriptures had given a lot of information about life science. For example, in Charaka Samhita, there is one shloka. Atmanam yeva manyeta kartaram sukhadukhayoho tasma shreyaskaram margam pratipadyeta natrasit. Charaka Samhita is a text written by Charaka. It is Agnivesha Krite Tantre Charaka Pratisamskrite. That means the text which is written by Agnivesha is re-edited by Charaka. He says in his text, a person, he himself is responsible for his happiness and sorrow. A person, he himself is responsible for his happiness and sorrow. Hence, he must choose the right path to attain prosperity. Because a person, he himself is responsible for his happiness and sorrow. Because whatever the acts we do, that is responsible for our happiness and sorrow. That means if we want to lead a happy life, our behavior is responsible, our interaction with the nature is responsible, and also to become sorrow, the same thing is responsible. That's why the knowledge of life science is very much important. It is very much important to lead a happy or sorrowful life. So everyone wants to live the happy life. That is why, for that purpose, we need the knowledge of life science. So Charaka says, Atmanam yeva manyeta kartaram sukhadukhayo. He is the physician. So he says, Sukhadukhayo kartaram atmanam yeva manyeta. Sukhadukhayo kartaram atmanam yeva manyeta. That is why tasmat shreyaskaram margam pratipadyeta. Hence, one must choose the right path to attain the prosperity. So that is what he quotes. And also, if we take a line from Chanakya Rajaniti, wherein Chanakya mentions, Sarvameva Parityajya Shariram Anupale. The protection of Sharira is very much important. As it is already mentioned in the previous session, that our Sharira is made up of Panchabhutas, Prithvi, Apteja, Vayu, Akasha. These Panchabhutas constitute the body. Protection of this body is very much important for doing any acts. We, as a human being, if we want to do any action, first requirement is the body. So, Chanakya says, Sarvameva Parityajya Shariram Anupalayet. Sarvam eva Parityajya Shariram Anupalayet. Ignoring everything, one has to protect or nourish his body. Ignoring everything, one has to protect or nourish his body or the Sharira. Shiryate iti Sharira. So all of us know, after death, this body or this Sharira will be one with the Panchabhutas. Because Sharirasya pranashtasya sarvam yeva vinashyati. If this Sharira is lost, everything is lost. Why I am quoting this? Because Our Sharira is required for everything, and our Sharira is part and parcel of this nature. Our Sharira is made up of the constituents which is present in the earth. Panchabhutas. In this. So, ignoring everything, one has to protect or nourish his body or the Sharira. For protection of this body, the knowledge of life science is very much important. If we don't know about the surroundings, you can't understand. You can't protect your body. To protect our body, the knowledge of our surrounding is very much important. What are the flora and fauna present in our surrounding? Its knowledge is very much important. So all the flora and fauna are useful to us in one or the other way. So if we know how it is useful to our living, then we can coordinate it along with our lifestyle. Then we can lead a happy life. And if any imbalance in the body, the Panchabhutas of the constituents of the Panchabhutas in our body, then that can be cured with what is present in our surroundings, whether it is plant or animal, whatever. So, sarvameva parityajya shariram anupalayet. Sharirasya pranashtasya sarvameva vinashyati. So one has to protect his sharira for doing all the acts. If you want to do good things in this world, first requirement is sharira. If our sharira is healthy, because it's already mentioned, Sajiva sharadashatam, Pashyema sharadashatam, Jivema sharadashatam. Sharad means Sharad Ritu, it comes once in a year. Let us live long for 100 years. Let us hear for 100 years. Let us speak properly for 100 years. That means all our indriyas be active and they be healthy for 100 years. So if our indriyas, if our body has to be healthy for 100 years, we should protect it properly. Then what is swastha? What is health? Health is defined by Sushruta. Sushruta is said to be the father of surgery. Sushruta, the father of surgery, he had written a text, namely Sushruta Samhita. Its Sutrasthana, in its Sutrasthana, 15th chapter, 41 shloka, he defined health. Samadoshaha, samadnischa, samadhatu, malakriyaha, prasannatmendriyamanaha, swastha ityabhidhiyate. Samadoshaha, samadnischa, samadhatu, malakriyaha, prasanna atma indriyamanaha, swastha ityabhidhiyate. The equilibrium of doshas, Agni, Dhatu, Malakriyas, their functioning and the control over sense organs and pleasant mind is called swastha, that is healthy person. I repeat, the equilibrium of the doshas, Agni, Dhatu, Malakriyas, their functioning and the control over sense organs and pleasant mind is called swastha, that is healthy person. So this is the health concept given by Sushruta long ago. So we should be swastha. Here you had seen control over the sense organs. Of course, the physical health, all of us care. If something happens to our body, we immediately take care of it. But we fail many times in controlling our senses and achieving the target. achieving our goal. So control over the sense and pleasant mind is also equally important. How to get control over the senses and pleasant mind? How to get control? So in Mandukya Upanishad, the Indian scriptures, especially the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, etc., they are very good Adhyatma texts, spiritual texts. That means they uphold our Atma, uphold our spirit. In Mandukya Upanishad, there is one mantra or the shloka, which says, Laye sambodhayet chittam vikshiptam shamayet punah sakashayam vijaniyat samapraptam nachalayet. Laye sambodhayet chittam vikshiptam shamayet punah sakashayam vijaniyat samapraptam nachalayet. This shloka is very nice to hear. Not only that, it's a very good management technique, mind relaxation technique. This speaks about the mind relaxation technique. Laye sambodhayet chittam. Laye sambodhayet chittam. Stimulate the sleepy mind. Stimulate the sleepy mind. Vikshiptam shamayet punaha. Vikshiptam shamayet punaha. Calm down the discalmed mind. First stimulate the sleepy mind and then calm down the discalmed mind. Vikshiptam shamayet punaha. Sa kashayam vijaniyat. Sa kashayam vijaniyat. Recognize the deep-rooted stresses. Recognize the deep-rooted stresses. So first of all, you stimulate the sleepy mind and then calm down the discalmed mind, and now recognize the deep-rooted stresses. Observe your mind. Reaching the balance, samapraptam, reaching the balance, na chalayet, don't disturb. So Mandukya Upanishad says, stimulate the sleepy mind, calm down the discalmed mind, recognize the deep-rooted stresses, reaching the balance, don't disturb. So control over the mind. How to control the mind? It gives a way to control the mind. And even in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which is written by Swami Swatmarama, there is one shloka which says, Chale vate chale chittam nischalam nischale bhavet. How to make the chitta nischala? How to calm down the mind? It says, Chale vate chale chittam. If your breathe is fast, or how you breathe, that is having the direct impact on the mind, chitta. The chitta will be moving, it will be fluctuating if vata, if the respiration is fluctuating, if your breath is fluctuating, if your breath is not normal, if your breath is fluctuating, then chitta is fluctuating. That is chale vate chale chittam. If you calm down the vata, if you control the breath, nischalam, if you calm down the breath, then manaha api nischale bhavet. Nischalam chittam api nischale bhavet. Chitta will become nischala. So chale vate chale chittam, nischalam nischale bhavet. That is what Swami Swatmarama says in Hatha Yoga Pradipika text. So these are various methods being explained in our ancient texts to control the mind. And even in Bhagavad Gita also, Sri Krishna says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Arjuna asked Krishna, controlling the mind is very difficult. Vayuriva sudushkaram. It is very difficult, just as how we can control the Vayu. Then how to control the mind? For this question being asked by Arjuna, Sri Krishna replies, Abhyasena tu kaunteya, by practice, and also vairagyena cha grihyate, and also through vairagya, through renunciation. By practice and renunciation, you can have the control over the mind. This is the statement given by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Chittavritti nirodha, that is what Patanjali says. Yoga chittavritti nirodha, chittavrittinam nirodha. So these are all different methods told. Different means the method is one and same, but in different words being told by our ancient seers, ancient people, ancient scientists. What is happening if you're not controlling the mind? Why should we have the knowledge of controlling the mind? To lead a happy life, control of the mind is very much important. To do any work, our mind should be pleasant. If our mind is not pleasant, we can't do the works properly. Which are the different ways how one can get the stress? Today, all of us know about our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is in such a way that we can get stress very easily. The stress may be due to anxiety, it may be due to job anxiety, or due to the heavy work, or due to the debt, or due to the bill payments, or due to fear, or due to headache, tired headache, or we say no time, hectic schedules, or due to sickness, or due to time management, we have failure to time management, then or lack of sleep, fear, worry. These are the different reasons for stress. All of us know it, how we will become stressful. So to get rid of the stress, Mandukya Upanishad had given a very good idea. Laye sambodhaye chittam vikshittam shamayet punah sakashayam vijaniyat samapraptam nachalaye. Stimulate the sleepy mind, calm down the discalmed mind, recognize the deep-rooted stresses, reaching the balance, don't disturb. But if stress is there, what is going to happen? There are different diseases which are contributions of stress. For example, heart disease, strokes, high blood pressure, colitis, irritability, rheumatism, depression, migraines, diabetes, hardening of the arteries, insomnia, fatigue, sex problems, skin diseases, allergies, overeating, asthma, kidney disorders, ulcers, breathing problems, increased smoking. Different diseases will be invited due to stress. So, if all these diseases come into our body, what is will be our condition? We can't do the works properly. So to overcome these diseases, first thing requirement is stress-free. To become stress-free, all these methods are being mentioned by our ancient scientists or the seers. Even the Upanishads mention, even in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, because the Bhagavad Gita, all of you know, it is told by Sri Krishna to Arjuna to relieve him from stress because he feared of war. He was unable to do war. Vepatuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate gandivam sramsate hastat tvakchaiva paridahyate. That is what he mentions about his condition after seeing the opposite army. After seeing the opponent army, Arjuna says, my body is shivering. I am now unable to hold the Gandiva. Gandivam sramsate hastat. Tvakchaiva paridahyate. So in such case, Arjuna was made stress-free through Bhagavad Gita. And he, of course, he was successful in the war. So these are different methods mentioned by our ancient seers. The first thing is, we should become stress-free. To become stress-free, we should have the knowledge of life. If we are stress-free, we can lead a happy life. So, for this purpose, we should have a knowledge of our surroundings and also different life processes. Of course, when we speak on the surroundings, all of us know man is very much fond of gold, especially our Indians. Indians purchase gold, they keep gold. Of course, many temples are looted during olden days for the reason of procuring the gold. Somanatha was attacked 17 times. Many temples were attacked and gold was looted. Gold or other ornaments were looted. And what is the importance of gold? How our ancient people know that gold is important? Because gold is having medicinal properties. Gold is having medicinal properties. What are the medicinal properties of the gold? Ayur Lakshmi Prabhadhihi Bhratikaramachila Vyadi Vidvamsi Punyam Bhutavesha Prashanti Smara Bhara Sukhadam Saukhya Pushti Prakashi Gangeyanchadharupyam Gadahara Majarakari Mohapahari Kshinanam Pushtikari Sputamati-karanam Virya-vriddhi-prakari. Gold. Ayuhu Lakshmi Prabhadhihi Smritikaram Akhila Vyadi Vidvamsi Punyam. Different benefits we get from gold. Gold enhances Ayu, lifespan. Gold enhances lifespan. Gold enhances wealth, body complexion. Lakshmi will be increased. It enhances the wealth. Body complexion will be increased. Sharirasya kanti vardheta enhances intellect and memory. Dhi, smriti will be enhanced. Intellect and memory will be enhanced. It eradicates the spell of evil spirit and is a good aphrodisiac. Evil spirits will be eradicated. It brings about a sense of well-being. If we have a goal, it will bring a sense of well-being, health. We feel as if we are healthy, as if we are strong. It is unctuous. It provides nourishment to the body. It is unctuous. It is very good brain tonic. Akhila Vyadhi Vidvamsi eradicates poisoning effects. It eradicates poisoning effects. Snigdham medhyam vishagadaharam brahmanam rishyamagryam yakshonmada prashamanaparam deha roga pramadhi Meda buddhis smriti sukhakaram sarva doshamayagnam Rutyam deepti prashamita rujam swadupakam suvarna. Medicinal properties of gold. Snigdham medhyam vishagadaharam brahmanam prashyamagryam yakshonmada prashamanaparam deharoga pramadhi Medha buddhis smriti sukhakaram sarva doshamayagnam Rutyam deepti prashamitarujam swadupakam suvarnam Snigdham medhyam vishagadaharam brahmanam rishyam agryam yaksha unmada prashamanaparam deha roga pramadhi Medha buddhi smriti sukhakaram sarva doshamayagnam Rutyam deepti prashamitarujam swadupakam suvarnam. Suvarna improves dharana shakti and grahana shakti. Medha buddhi smriti sukhakaram. It cures the diseases originated by tridoshas. Sarva doshamayagnam. It cures the diseases originated by tridoshas. It improves taste as well as digestive powers. It improves taste as well as digestive powers. Rutyam deepti prashamitarujam swadupakam suvarnam. Ward of all types of diseases. It cures yakshma, unmada and many other diseases. And cooking in golden utensils is said to be sweet. Swadupaka. Swadupakam suvarnam. So if you come across the medicinal properties of gold, gold enhances the lifespan, it enhances wealth, body complexion, it enhances intellect and memory, it eradicates the spell of evil spirit and is aphrodisiac, it brings about sense of well-being, it provides nourishment to the body, it is unctuous, good brain tonic, it eradicates poisoning effects, it improves dharana shakti and grahana shakti, it cures the diseases originated by the tridoshas. It improves taste as well as digestive powers. It is sweet in cooking. It wards off all types of diseases. It cures yakshma, unmada, and many other diseases. So due to all these properties, the gold is very much intimate to ancient Indians. We know Bharatiyaha, Suvarnapriyaha, Kanchanapriyaha. Even Rama also gone behind Kanchanamruga. Asambhavam hema mrugasya janma tathapi ramo dulubhe mrugaya. Even though he knows that hema mruga is impossible, still he had gone behind it. That means that much our Indians are fond of gold. So gold is very much liked by Indians because it is having all these good properties. So if we use it in proper way, our health will be improved. So to lead a good life, these things are very much important. The knowledge of these things are very much important. And when we speak on the life science, science of life, it is observed in Vedas in different ways. And later in Ramayana and Mahabharata, since the people during Ramayana and Mahabharata knows, even the forest, they used to have the 4 kinds of thing, that is Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. So Vanaprastha, living in forest, was also a part of their life. That means they knew everything about their surrounding and They were able to utilize them for their better living. So the knowledge of life science always leads to better living. Even the Vanavasa is mentioned in both of our epics, that is Itihasa Kavyas, Ramayana and Mahabharata. During Vanavasa, they lived happily, they lived without any fear, they lived with all the bravery because they had the knowledge of their surrounding atmosphere and they knew how to make use of it for their better living. So even about Rama, we see he was never worried about living in the kingdom, in the city, or in the forest. Even though he was told that he has to go for Vanavasa instead of becoming the king, he never bothered about it. He, without any obligations, without any fear, he accepted it because they were very much know about their surroundings. They studied their surroundings. They knew how to live with their surroundings. So that is the most important for our healthy living, for better communication, for better understanding, for standard living. So when we speak of our surrounding atmosphere, the plants play the major role. Ancient Indians had vast knowledge about the plant. Even in the Samhitas like Charaka Samhita or Sushruta Samhita or Vagbhata's Ashtanga Hridaya or Ashtanga Sangraha and even Kashyapa Samhita, we can get a lot of plants and its uses. Then how to study the plants, how they studied about the plants, how it is recorded in our books. So it is said as the Vrikshayurveda. Vrikshayurveda is the science of plants. Vrikshayurveda is the science of plants. Vrikshayurveda text R.C. Majumdar, he refers to three terms, Vrikshayurveda, that is Gulma Vrikshayurveda and Bheshaja Vidya, and explains them respectively as science of life of trees. That is Vrikshayurveda as the science of life of trees, Gulma Vrikshayurveda, science of life, plant life, and Bheshaja Vidya, science of medicinal plants. S.S. Mishra, he mentions a number of terms, Vriksha Bheshaja Vidya, Vrikshayurveda, Gulma Vrikshayurveda, and Vrikshayurveda Yoga. He says Vrikshayurveda means pure botany. Vrikshayurveda means pure botany according to S.S. Mishra. So what we studied today as a botany, it was studied in ancient days as the Vrikshayurveda. Whereas Vrikshayurveda Yoga means applied botany. So Vrikshayurveda means pure botany and Vrikshayurveda Yoga means applied botany. Today we study applied botany as separate and botany as separate. Vriksha Bheshaja Vidya signify the science of medicinal plant. Vrikshayu and Veda Vrikshayu, it covers all aspects of health and longevity. Then K.P. Kangle, he translates Vrikshayurveda is the science of rearing the plants. Science of rearing the plants. R.C. Majumdar, he mentions the topics included in the Vrikshayurveda as being selection and procurement of viable seeds, choice of proper soil, irrigation, manuring, sowing and germination of seeds, planting, grafting, pruning, layering, seasonal care, cultivation, rotation of crops, climatic condition in relation to proper growth, classification and identification of plants. aesthetic and hygienic value of gardens, construction of herbariums, and treatment of plants in healthy and diseased conditions. So, R.C. Majumdar, he mentions the topics included in the Vrikshayurveda as being selection and procurement of viable seeds, choice of proper soil, irrigation, manuring, sowing, and germination of seeds, planting, grafting, pruning, layering, seasonal care, cultivation, rotation of crops, climatic condition in relation to proper growth, classification and identification of plants, aesthetic and hygienic values of the gardens, construction of herbariums, and treatment of plants in healthy and diseased conditions. Then A.K. Ghosh and S.N. Singh, they list the topic of Vrikshayurveda as being collection and selection of seeds, germination, grafting, cutting, sowing, planting, and nursing, soil selection, manuring, meteorological conditions favorable for plant growth, location of plants for improving the aesthetic and hygienic surroundings of the homestead. So here, S.N. Singh and A.K. Ghosh, they list the topics of Vrikshayurveda as being collection and selection of seeds, germination, grafting, cutting, sowing, planting and nursing, soil selection, manuring, meteorological conditions favorable for plant growth, location of plants for improving the aesthetic and hygienic surroundings of the homestead, etc. So here we come across the topics which are being covered under Vrikshayurveda. We have already seen almost all the aspects of the botany are being covered here. That is selection and procurement of viable seeds, choice of proper soil, irrigation, manuring, sowing, germination of seeds, planting, grafting, pruning, layering, seasonal care, cultivation, rotation of crops, climatic condition in relation to proper growth, classification and identification of plants, aesthetic and hygienic values of the gardens, construction of herbariums and treatment of plants in healthy and diseased conditions, planting and nursing, soil selection, meteorological conditions favorable for plant growth, location of plants for improving the aesthetic and hygienic surroundings of the homestead, etc. So these are the different topics which are covered under Vrikshayurveda. These are being studied in Vrikshayurveda texts. So we can get the information about Vrikshayurveda as one chapter in Brihat Samhita of Varaham era. In Kautilya's Arthashastra also, there is mention about treatment of seeds with Gomaya. Then Surapala had written a text on Vrikshayurveda. Upavana Vinoda is a very good text which explains about all these aspects. So during the ancient days, they had the knowledge about the botany and it is being recorded in Samskrita terminologies in Sanskrit books like Vrikshayurveda. And also they mentioned about the plants in various texts like Garuda Purana, then Chanakya Kautilya's Arthashastra, and Varahamira's Brihat Samhita, Various other texts we can get information about plants, its growth, its ayushya, study of ayushya of the plants, how to improve the ayushya, what are the remedies to be done. So all these things are being explained in those texts. So we can see that traces of Indian botany or Ayurveda since Vedic period. Since Vedic period, we can see the traces of Indian botany or Ayurveda. Vedic literature with Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads, and Vedangas is very vast. Vedic literature with Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad, and Vedangas is very vast. It contains many references to plants and their diverse uses. Plants, their various parts and products were used in a number of ways for social and religious activities. So various plant parts and the plant products were being used in a number of ways for social and religious activities. The flowers, fruits, and leaves were used as an object of consumption and as offerings in religious ceremonies. Trees were used in sacrifices. Trees were also used in agricultural implements, domestic appliances, tools, weapons, items of furniture, parts of houses, vehicles, and conveyances. So we use the trees even today for various purposes. They are used in agricultural implements, domestic appliances, tools, weapons, items of furniture, part of the houses, vehicles, and conveyances. The number of plants mentioned in Rig Veda. So just the number of plants has been mentioned in Vedas. In Rig Veda, around 67 plants are being mentioned. In Yajurveda, about 81. In Atharvaveda, about 298. That means during those periods, they recognize the plants and its use to human. So they considered plant as man-friendly, human-friendly. The most celebrated plant that finds frequent mention in the Rig Veda and later Samhitas is the Soma plant. Soma Yaga is very famous. The Soma plant is most frequently mentioned in Rig Veda and later Samhitas. The Vedic Indians hail Soma as the lord of the forest, Vanaraja. They consider Soma as the Vanaraja. The botanical identity of Soma plant, however, has not been decided till today. The botanical identity of Soma plant has not been decided till today. The probable plants are, so some plants are considered as Soma. Still, it is not 100% clear. The probable plants are Ephedra, it is a gymnosperm, Sarcostema, flowering plant, and a mushroom, a fungus. The second most mentioned plant is the people or the Ashwatha, that is Ficus religiosa. Ashwatha is clearly identified today. It is the people tree or the Ficus religiosa is its botanical scientific name. So it was the second most mentioned plant during the Vedic period. The Rig Veda refers to utensils and vessels fashioned out of the wood of Ashwatha tree. The Rig Veda refers to utensils and vessels fashioned out of the wood of the Ashwatha tree. The Atharva Veda speaks of Aushadhi and Vanaspati. Atharva Veda speaks of Aushadhi and Vanaspati. Atharva Veda also uses four terms: Vanaspati, Vanaspatya, Aushadhi, and Virudha. The four terms have been mentioned: Vanaspati, Vanaspatya, Aushadhi, and Virudha. The Atharva Veda mentions sky as the father and earth as the mother of plants. Sky as the father and earth as the mother of the plants, with their origin in ocean. Atharva Veda also says that earth is the best place for the origin of the plants. Earth is the best place for the origin of the plants. So this is the brief description about the Ayurveda, about the plant science, and further about Ayurveda we can discuss in the coming sessions.